got it. I don't know what you can see and can't see, but this is a room of a person, a craft person who had long COVID, which means it's a mess. Everything is a mess. My world is a mess. Actually, it's not. I'm just complaining. Let's see. Still can't read the chat if there is one. Doing layered things, which is Prism on YouTube, on something. Should probably watch videos tonight. I was just really tired from the past 2 days, and there's a storm going on outside, so I couldn't go to San Francisco because driving on the bridge is crazy. Not just the wind, but the people changing lanes, which was fun coming home from Fremont yesterday during rush hour in the rain, as usual. Anyway, so the song that's been going through my head most of the day, which is what I usually wake up with, is a Final Countdown. I don't know why. This is the home look, and you really can't see much of the home look. There's my dove. I wear my dove. So, what else? Let's see. I've got my little travel book that I was going to fill out while I was traveling. Oh, I was watching someone's lawyer friend, and he was talking about permits and things like that, but we try to be a independent, unorganized group, so we necessarily wouldn't be able to plan for permits in San Francisco because we don't know how many people are going to show up. So I thought it was a great idea if we ever got organized, but we live on not being organized and being independent. So I'm just sort of slightly taking it for granted that San Francisco is used to protests. Actually, most of the East Bay Area, Valley are used to protests because that's what they did here and that's what they started here. And I was watching Natalie Webster interview Streets LA, and it was funny. I love it that he talks about his mom. And I forgot the point. It's not called brain fog for not a reason. I guess I'll have to remember it and talk about it later. Oh, he did drop that San Francisco protests, so that was nice. Let's see. I think that's going to be like my quote. Let's see. Somebody was putting Dianetics books in the little corner libraries. That's what I call them. The free libraries that are in little, we have bird cages or bird houses here that look like them with glasses. And it looks like somebody's putting the Dianetics books in them so people can, get on the train. And I figured I like to read books that are left in the bird houses. So I was figuring that I would see, number one, I want to read Dianetics, not pay for it. Not even from a thrift store, but I'd get one copy for me and then maybe pick out copies for my friends and forget to give them or something. I mean, I love to give my friends gifts. So who knows? Maybe I can give it to one of my hyper intelligent friends and they can figure out a way to properly protest them. Who knows? So that's that. I also thought about why cops aren't necessarily nice in a regular way. I think it's because I have a friend who's a cop. I grew up around cops. My best friend's mom in junior high school started as a forensic analyst and then wound up being a cop. I think what they do is they expect it to be SWAT and then they find out it's secretary. So they're not amused that they have to do all of this bureaucratic work if they like it or not. I think it just makes them mad. And I think it's the last thing a cop wants to do when they get hurt is be stuck behind a desk for the rest of their career because they have a bad ligament or something. So I don't think it's necessarily I don't think they were coming to be mean. I mean, there are mean cops, but it is not very normal usually. So I think they just get mad at having to fill out all that paperwork all the time and have to fill it out in a timely manner. So I'm trying to figure out a way to be nice, because eventually, as I tease the hubby, that I'll get arrested like everybody else. And I just want to figure out a way to talk to them that won't make them mad. I mean, I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I make them sort of mad when I talk to them. I don't know if I condescend. I don't know if I patronize. Basically, I don't know if I'm turning their own routine on them, that I'm doing that. So it could make them irritable. So I have to figure out a way to talk to them and not get held overnight. Let's see. Little libraries, cops. Oh, somebody was talking about somebody's lifestyle, personal lifestyle. Yeah, I'm from San Francisco and I guess I'm a weirdo. So as long as you're not handcuffed in somebody's playroom without your permission, their lifestyle is none of your business. Lifestyles have changed over the years, and I've noticed most of the kids, which are basically 30 and under to me, don't have the same lifestyles that I had, and didn't have the same lifestyles that boomers had. So I don't think it's any of our business, as long as everybody gets permission. Okay? Thank you. Let's see. I had to be mentioned somewhere. Somebody put me in a comment. Somebody put me in just a passing name or something, because the video from 3 days ago, I think now, has over 600 views. So I had to have been mentioned somewhere. That's interesting. I wish I could figure it out. I mean, I watch Marilyn Honig, Natalie Webster, and ASL, which I now think of Erin as sign language, every day. I also watch Rabbit when she usually comes out, because before it wasn't solidly Scientology, and she's starting to go back to the true crime stuff, which is fun. And my dad was adopted by a Mexican family, so all my cousins were Mexican, and they all had that accent, which was hilarious. So when she talks real fast or something, I will correct in my head, because she said that English is not her first language. So I automatically, that's how I realized that I used to correct my cousins. And then they would tease me, of course, because I was the youngest in the whole darn family, all over the place. So they would make jokes about my speech classes because I sounded like Cindy Brady when I was little. Oh, I actually can see sort of chats. Giamba Juice said she watches all of them too, or he watches all of them too. But yeah, no, my family would tease me about my perfect accent or my perfect speech, because I spent 3 years in speech therapy to get rid of this Cindy Brady voice or lisp. Oh, thank you, Drifter. I'm glad you found me through Z-News Daddy. I'm always going to call him Z-News Daddy. I don't know how to be polite and straightforward and formal with Z-News Daddy. He's the one who got me out there. Well, not him. I asked him if he wanted to meet. And this is the perfect example of that we are independent. I don't have anything but his email address. I don't have his phone number. I don't have even a real email address. I have the one that he uses for YouTube. So the only way I can get a hold of him is through YouTube. Yeah, Messenger. I don't have Messenger. We are independent. And that's how we'll stay, because We don't want to be labeled as a hate gang, because we're not. We are compassionate people, all independent of each other, protesting and meeting up somewhere. And Jamba said they can't remember who told me to follow you. SPTV somewhere. Yeah, I figured I was sort of fast forwarding at first, and then I'm like, you know what? Getting popular would be sort of weird anyway, so why do I really want to know? Because I would probably keep talking about them. So it's like, I'm having fun. Excuse me, still. I have one of these with a top like this because I found my cat drinking out of my glass, and I had had her for 10 years at that point. And I went, all of my cups need to have lids, because now I have 2 cats and hopefully soon a dog. Our oldest cat passed away December 15th. So we're socializing these, and I've probably said it a million times, and that's why my channel is Brain Fog. We're socializing the big fluffy one, which eventually I'm sure she'll put her tail on this desk. And the orange tabby girl, who isn't supposed to exist because they don't make orange tabby girls. And I know why. She's a demon, but I love her. Oh, the protest picture book. That's what they were talking about. Natalie, and I can't help but call them streets. Yes, I'm a good girl. Goth good girl, I guess you could say. That people would say they would be grooming them. I personally went by myself or with 10 of my friends when I was in 6th grade to Lake Merritt in Oakland, because I grew up in Oakland, to protest the teacher strike, because the teachers were protesting, and we all knew of ourselves that we should protest with the teachers because a very infamous proposition passed in California, which was Prop 13, back in 1977 or 76. And it basically went to brand new school books and pencils and erasers and paper to, that's the last school book you're going to get for 4 years in that grade. You better learn how to buy pencils and paper. That's what binders are for. So we had no problem going with the teachers to go strike. I was 12 years old, and the local the local radio store came up to me. Radio store? Oh God. The local radio channel came up to me, which was KGO. It was the talk channel, and asked me if they could interview me. And I told them that my mother said I could not go on TV. And that's because someone in my family got their picture in a prominent place on the newspaper when newspapers mattered. So none of us young people were allowed to be in public media anymore. Yeah, that's how weird my life has always been. So I think there should be a protest picture book for, say, 11 on. I mean, I was hyper intelligent in school. Real life, okay. But I wasn't the one who came up with the idea. A friend of mine came up with the idea of going, because it'd be fun. And we could ride the bus up to Lake Merritt from, 38th Avenue. So that's East Oakland, but people call it the suburban East Oakland back in the day. Right now it's not doing very well, but it'll get better again. So we all caught the bus and went to Lake Merritt, and all of our teachers thought it was awesome and tried not to be overly enthusiastic about it because they're teachers and they're not allowed to be overly enthusiastic. But they all smiled like crazy, and I think our teachers hugged us like nuts. So it was fun. And I knew what I was doing. Oh yeah, one of the cults that I didn't belong to, but I explained that my father, bio dad, belonged to it. Well, belonged. I think he just sort of flittered in and out in the early 70s. So it was a place called Synanon, and they actually, my mother has had a medallion of it, which I have now, and I found tie tacks. I thought they looked really close to the membership logo on the pop-ups, or when they're doing the text thing, chat thing, that it would show that it looked like a synonym tie tack. It doesn't, but it was still funny, and I'll probably wear it one of these days just to be funny. It's like, even though my mother didn't belong to it, boy, she had jewelry for it. So, hey. Let's see. I think I've covered everything I wrote down. We are not an organized group. Oh, I came up with a motto for me that I read in Princess Alice's biography by Victor Hugo. I know it's mean, but it is, I think of it as a Daniel Steele author of biographies, because it's a pretty easy read. You do learn a lot of stuff, but it's still a pretty easy read. So I will read his books to find out about royalty. And of course, royalty was because of the crown. And I actually deserve my squirrel status, because I will squirrel down any hole you want me to. So the original quote was, combine wild dottiness with sharp intelligence and shared shrewd judgment. And I changed it to, combines wild fog with sharp intellect and shrewd judgment. Because, as you can tell, I can flitter off for no reason, come back around, and sometimes something intelligent will come out of my mouth by accident. When I was younger, I wanted to be a physicist because I had a poster of Einstein next to Nadia Comaneci on my walls. That and Sean Cassidy and who was it? Who was the other ones? I can't remember them right now. From Tiger Beat, girls. And I put it up with a substance called Fun Tack at the time, because I wasn't allowed to put push pins in my walls because girls are fickle. It's the easiest way to put it. So Einstein got replaced with Bowie, and then Nadia got replaced with Bowie. So obviously I liked Bowie. I did see him 5 times. I have a tattoo that was for him when he passed. You can barely see it. Nobody ever sees it until I show it to them. So, let me think. That's it at the moment. I wish I had more. It's so much easier to talk to the building when I'm walking around it, but I won't be going by myself. So I'm going to try to figure out how to meet various other protesters at times. Weekends are covered, but the regular days are not, because what if I get arrested? I have nobody to throw my phone to, and that's important. And who knows what they're up to. I think somebody hovered in the parking garage I was in on Wednesday, because they sort of stood there as I got in my car, and then they passed by me and didn't seem to get in a car. So I might be actually watched a little. And it was a type of person that I was supposed to be afraid of. And unfortunately for them, I grew up around everybody. And 2 of my big little brothers are this type of guy. So it didn't work. And I didn't realize that that was probably something to intimidate me until today, when I walked into the husband's office because he's working home today. And I said, oh my God, I think they were trying to scare me. I never noticed these things. I really don't notice these things because of the way I was brought up. I mean, the regular things that scare people don't scare me because I wasn't brought up in suburbia. That's a nice way to put it. So even though I've been told that where my parents lived in Oakland was suburbia. It wasn't. It was below the freeway. Above the freeway is the hills, and Oakland's version of suburbia. I grew up in middle-class world where everybody's parents worked and they had houses and cars, but they worked for them. So I learned not to be afraid of things that people from suburbia would be afraid of. That's the vaguest way I can put it. That sounded completely goofy. So I think the camera is probably a little too close to me. See my squirrel? I have a lot of squirrels. I've been a squirrel for a very long time. So there's those two squirrels, or that squirrel, which is a hand puppet and I'll take with me occasionally. There are those squirrels, which I stole from my husband's office. And one I found, I think either at the antique fair or the consignment store around here. And I brought him home because it was like, squirrel. That's the way I act. I'm always like, squirrel, look, squirrel. So I have a lot of other stuffed animals I can probably put up there because like most people who were slightly ignored as children or hyper intelligent children who didn't get to have a childhood, we're reliving childhoods. So it's a lot better this time around. Let me think what else. And there's nothing wrong with having stuffed animals. I've always said that. I've always had them. And I basically tell people, if I make you uncomfortable, that's your damage, not mine. So, I think people should be allowed to do whatever they want as long as it's not illegal or hurt somebody else. And I mean that across the line. I have friends from everywhere, considering Oakland, Rocky Horror. And we all know, if you've ever been to or been in Rocky Horror, that it is definitely a just combination. Drifter Shelley. One of my friends actually did the art for a club because their mascot is a squirrel. She did the art for the t-shirt that year. So, and her squirrel is a skeleton, and I'm trying to get her to make me maybe a cover art or something, because I want her to be a moderator eventually. She's really inside her house, and I love her to death. She's one of my three. Yesterday was one of the three's parent, and he clung on to us like there was no tomorrow, and we'll all do it for each other. I know we will, because we've all known each other for, what did we say? 89? So since 89, basically grew up together. So it's just the way it is. And it kills me to see her liking being in the house. So I want her to do moderation for me. And I want her to do some art for me, some squirrels, because that's what squirrels do. And I've been a squirrel for, how many years have I been a squirrel? Yelling at the hubby.
What kind of squirrel?
A DG squirrel.
Shit, I don't know.
He doesn't know. I'd probably say since 97. No, that's a lie. That's how my husband met me. He came up to me at a club one of my friends was having and said, I'm a DJ at this place. And I went, that's nice, and turned around and walked away. Next week, I felt bad because I had completely snubbed this guy. And I came up to him and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a bad head about it. And he said, that's nice. He turned around and walked away. That was it. I chased him for 3 years. Never chased anybody else. Got engaged during that, but the hubby supposedly went out with somebody during that. Broke up with the guy, and I finally said to him, because we were being unethical, I finally said to him one day, I said, either we date or I'm done. So we dated. And then he wound up in the hospital 8 years later. 6 years later. And after that, I said, either we get married or I'm done. So my relationship has progressed by confrontation. There's a word there I can't remember. I'm not having a good word day. When I do this, the husband finishes for me. That's why I said my phrase is going to be Birdie. Birdie. She's trying to get in the closet here. Her name is... if you can come and get her. She's trying to get the mouse underneath the door. I name my pets after first ladies. The latest one is Ladybird. So I have a Norwegian mountain. This is the hubby, and I'm sure some people will know who he is. Oh my God, Drifter Shelly, that's awesome. My parents were together for 46 years. My stepdad and my mom, he's my dad as far as I'm concerned. That's why I say bio dad. Never married. She wouldn't marry him. It was awful. We drove her crazy. So yes, now back to Furball. Ladybird is our Norwegian... Hi, Shelly. Birdie is a Norwegian forest cat. She's beautiful. Go look at the front page of the breed. And we thought my husband thought I would put a picture there as a joke. And that's what Birdie looks like. So it only took about 4 years before I realized that I named a cat Birdie. And when she's in trouble, she gets Ladybird because that was President Johnson's wife. We have Ladybird and we have Dolly. No, Dolly died. Oh my God. We have Abigail, Van Buren, or Adams, depending on what mood we're in. He's bringing Birdie because Birdie is very popular on his Twitch. Say hello, baby doll. This is the supermodel, and we know that she'll be the supermodel forever. Stop, don't do that. And she sheds like a madman and only wears black. So, but I had a pure white cat for 17 years. And that's how I learned how to, my friends used to tease and say that you could eat off of her because I was so clean. And that was because she just had, you're part Norwegian. That's great. My last name is Swedish because I took my stepdad's name. So when I see people in person and I know the first thing they're thinking is, you're not Swedish. When I was married, my husband's last name was Jewish and I had his last name. And somebody looked at me and said, you're Jewish? And I went, no. So, oh God, my computer went on. I've got a computer, because I'm still doing it off my phone. I've got a really beautiful computer behind me because I was going to spend more time on photography and doing like edited stuff, like the sewing crowd I loved. So now I've got a beautiful computer that I'll learn how to use. So, Abby, the orange tabby. Oh, that's funny. Do you know what I just said? No. I said Abby the orange tabby.
Yeah.
He's very, very smart, and sometimes he doesn't get my jokes at all. And I live in the world of dad jokes because of it. But I love brains. I have a brain fetish. I have a suit fetish. Even though it's sort of going... And yeah, that shows you what kind of world I live in because I talk about fetishes like it's nothing. So, drink. Oh, my mouth gets dry. Isn't there, Shelly, isn't there somebody famous in history named Erickson? I have forgotten more brain fog. I'm trying to get it back and it comes back when I'm watching things and... something will come along and my brain will connect finally and I'm like, oh, wow. And then I go tell the husband and I'd say probably a third of the time he's like, and? Because he's heard it before. So I think I'm done. I finally hit 30, which is what I wanted to do all the time, at least 30. So I'm going to go downstairs and work on my scarf. I'm making a goldenrod scarf. I think goldenrod, I'm colorblind. So, thank you. Oh my God. Leif Erikson. I can't believe I forgot that. Wow. I need to go read some history books. So yeah, I'm working on a goldenrod scarf, and I'm gonna trim it in light yellow glittery because my world has to be glittery. Thank you, Drifter Shelley. Thank you for putting up with me. Like I said, half of it's gonna be from the desk. And it'll be around 7, I'm trying, because it seems to be between everything, before LA starts, after everybody during the day does their thing. So, which makes the husband really happy because he's always been the one who encourages me talking because he likes to watch me sparkle. So I've taken it to the nth degree, and usually I have glitter on my fingernails. This is a lot more fun right now. Everybody's noticing that, and it's yellow to green, and yellow, we know what. Green's a good luck color, and it looks like an insect back because we all know what we think of Scientology. I should say, yeah, because I always have, thank you, Drifter Shelley. I always have a Scientology made me. And I can say today, Scientology made me stop wearing glitter, I think. So, good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Supposedly the storm's supposed to be a while, and it's really hitting the windows, and it doesn't normally. So, if it's not storming, it'll be around noon there. If it's storming, then it'll be 7 here. So, have a good night, everybody who's watching me. Take care. Bye.